So welcome back. We're introducing something that novel, as some will say, but it's something that is necessary because every day of our lives we get in situations where you wonder, what happened to your home training? Have you ever heard that question?
Yes, some people do ask.
You lack home training. That's
you lack table
you lack
manners.
table manners. You lack phone manners. You lack all sorts of manners. Where do you throw them to? Some will tell you I left the manners in the wilderness. But be that as it may, we're starting a segment called Etiquette with Janet. It's about basically. Oh no, let me not say what it's about. She will come in and tell us what, what it's about. So we have in the studio with us Janet Adetu. Thank you for joining us. She's the Managing Director, CEO of JSK Etiquette Consortium.
Yes, thank you.
So Janet, tell us, what is it about etiquette? I know today you are focusing on phone etiquette.
Yeah.
But just tell us, what's it about etiquette?
Oh my goodness. Etiquette really is, it's very important in life. We really can't get by without it. And I would say etiquette, manners, you can make or break a relationship without it. There's a saying that goes, manners are priceless, but the lack of manners can actually cost you millions, right? And, and manners, it's so cheap, yet expensive at the same time. But there's also another saying that says manners can actually open doors for you more than any education can. Because you might not have a certain level of education, but if you project yourself properly, ideally you can actually put yourself on a pedestal or in a class where people will think actually you have a PhD. And that's why I say it's really, really important. The problem that we're seeing today is that there's so much strife, stress, depression, and really because of the lack of manners, to be honest. and people tend to ask me, okay, what's the difference between manners, etiquette, and protocol? And it's really quite simple. When it comes to manners, manners really is the behavior that's expected of you. So you meet someone for the very first time, you're expected to say at least hello or greet that person. Etiquette, on the other hand, is the code of behavior. How should we say that greeting? And that could be influenced by the culture that you come from, age gaps, generation gaps, the environment. So maybe in our environment, for instance, we greet an elderly person quite different from the way we would greet a younger person. And protocol really is when. So I met you in a setting. This is 5 o'clock in the evening. I should actually be saying good evening, right? I don't say that good evening 5 hours after I have met you. I say the good evening rather now. So manners is expected behavior. So if I bring out my hand to shake your hand, I'm actually expecting you to do likewise, depending on the scenario. That would probably be in an official environment. And of course, like I said, etiquette is how. I just said now, a business environment means we shake hands. Maybe in a social environment, we won't shake hands, but we will still say hello. And of course, the protocol part of it is when. When are we shaking hands? Immediately, later, when we sit down? And that's why, so it's all about etiquette in a social environment, social etiquette, business etiquette, dining etiquette, international protocol etiquette. It's all over. It's everywhere we look. And, when we look around us today, unfortunately, there's so much incivility.
So much.
A lot of incivility, unfortunately. And what can we do? My own, I would like to just portray this as something that we should all look at as a way of life, to make us better people, to make us better co-workers, and actually to make a better nation and a better country. Can we do it? Yes, of course we can.
We can. Okay, now today we're talking about phone etiquette.
Yes. We picked phone etiquette today because I think it's an area that is really important. What do we see out there? We're seeing so much rudeness on the phone. Either when somebody picks up the phone, the intonation is not welcoming. Even when they respond, they know who's calling and they say yes, or banging on the phone.
What do you want?
What do you want? We just saw that little video clip, how, the gentleman was like, who's this? Or he knows who it is and he can't be bothered to pick the phone. He lets it ring endlessly. We see the young ladies as well. They're in a public environment and they're enjoying their phone regardless of who is around them. And since we're still talking about children, it's another area to look at. Children and their phones, positive or negative, So, and I'm seeing that, with phones, again, people use them lack of confidentiality. You can go to the hair salon and you can hear someone's entire conversation. Or better still, you're having a business conversation. You must be aware of the environment that you're in and be very careful of kind of information you divulge, especially if it is a business call. But a lot of people take that for granted. So phone etiquette is, I think, very important for us to adhere to. And it's not that there are hard and fast rules about it. It's common sense to a large extent. But you know, some of these things, the norm, we just look at the norm and take it to be the right thing, whereas it is the wrong thing, you know.
Now, talking about maybe somebody calling you and the phone rings, sometimes you're not with your phone.
True.
So what do you do?
If you're not with your phone, obviously the person will ring. Again, you are ringing someone and the phone has rung consistently, more than 3 times, 4 or 5 times. Some people, they know you're not there, but they will call you back. And again, and again. There's something telling you that that person is not available. Either you send a text message or call back later, but you get some people consistently calling you. So you get to your phone and you see nine missed calls. Hello, the message is a little clear. But then, of course, if you get such, things on your phone and you see somebody has called you and indeed you were not there, I would say quite naturally, either when you are free and available, call them back, or send a text saying, I'll call you back later. It's just politeness, because sometimes you can frustrate that person, or sometimes that call can actually be very important. So you need to be able to, make that judgment call. Most times you are definitely, genuinely in a meeting. And ideally, you're not supposed to be using your phone at meetings anyway. But if indeed somebody is trying to get hold of you, just say, please, I'll call you back in a meeting. Or some people do say, send me a text. So you can have an idea of whether it's urgent or not. Because sometimes you do step out of meetings just to receive a certain call, especially if you were expecting it. But, it's about how do you use your phones? The big question I have out there is, right, how many phones do you have? How many phones do you have?
Well, I have one phone.
Great. And it's all about how do you handle your phone? Sometimes for good reasons, people have more than one phone. I do, but how do you handle your phone? It's really important.
Sorry, before you go on, I don't know this question.
Yeah.
When you talked about someone calling you over and over again, but there's the other one that now that some phones have this call waiting thing,
right.
When you call, you hear that tone that tells you this person is on another call. Some people continue to call back.
Yes, yes.
So what do you do? What's the right thing or the ideal thing to do?
Most times, if you're on a call and your phone actually indicates, we're in the techie age. So right now, some of our phones are so technical that even not all of us have taken the time to understand how to use that phone. And if you do get call waiting, sometimes you can tell that another person is trying to call you. You really don't want to break your current conversation. I would say the moment you drop that first call, then either call them back if you're available, or send a message so that they understand not to call you back consistently again. Most times it's really about they don't really understand. Sometimes the ideology behind using a phone, I would say, as simple as it sounds, but it's like, if you send that message once in a while and that person knows that if I call this person consistently, I'm going to get this kind of text message, then they will stop calling you over and over again because they know that you are not likely going to pick that phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You were going to say about some of the things that if you have a phone, how...
Yes. Ideally, if you're looking at a phone, first of all, there are 2 ways that we need to look at in terms of etiquette and protocol. When you receive a call and when you actually dial and you're the one making the call. So receiving a call and making a call, they're 2 different things. So I would say when you're receiving a call, okay, ideally, don't let your phone ring endlessly. Some people, they either don't want to pick the call and they couldn't care less and they will let it ring to the end. It will come back again and ring regardless of the people around them. I would say 3 times is enough and respond to that call. 3 times, 3 rings, respond if you're available. Otherwise, put your phone on silent so that you're not disturbing other people, And then again, another thing about phone protocol is if someone calls you, all right, if you have caller ID, what do you do? Do you acknowledge the person or not? I would say if that person's number is on your phone, out of politeness, just say hello and call that person's name. It's really quite rude when you know who's on the other end and you just say hello So that person is thinking, well, she can see my number. You really feel it. You feel like, is something going on, you know? And again, why don't you start your conversation with, hi, how are you? Are you doing pleasantly? You know, just polite pleasantries and kickstart your conversation. Not like, yes, hello, what do you want? Who's that? You know, it just, even if you don't know the person, hello, good afternoon, can I help you? All right?
That sounds very officious.
Oh, no, you could even say, hello, how are you? Janet on the line. You know, something, something like that.
Sometimes some people call you and the person on the other end is not saying anything.
Yeah.
Or not hearing you.
No, maybe network issues different.
Yes,
I've had some people call a private number calling me.
Right.
And then I pick the phone and it's there, it's not talking. Or
I'm very careful with private numbers, by the way. I think as much as we're talking about protocol with the phone, part of protocol is security. Security on your phone. Sometimes, if indeed you don't know who's calling you and the person really wants to speak to you, they would actually send a text message. And if they don't send a text message, then you have to be careful as to how you respond to such calls, because we do get prank calls all the time, you know. And always try to speak clearly on the phone, you know, loud and clear, not muffled sound. Some people, you know, you have this bedroom voice, and that's how you speak on the phone. You can hardly hear the person speaking. But most of all, when someone actually calls you and you're receiving a call, I think you should make it a point of duty to listen first. You know, listen to what they have to say, and why not always, you know, say goodbye at the end of it. But some don'ts, I would say, don't eat while you're on the phone. We can hear all the muffled sounds. Don't eat while you're on the phone. Don't multitask. So you're receiving a call at the same time you're writing an email. You know, we have only one brain, so you might make errors. Surely you will. You have to be careful with your ringtone. Some people have some very funny ringtones in the office. I say if you have two phones, one ringtone for official reasons and another ringtone for your social reasons.
Okay, we need to go now. So you want to leave a question behind?
Yes, we are introducing a segment called Sometimes the Caller, when you have caller ID. Sometimes, always, or never. Please send in your messages on the Twitter platform at Sunrise CTV or email sunrise@channelstv.com.
Thank you very much, Janet.
You're most welcome.
Thank you. Now, remember, if you're sending those responses, please use the hashtag Etiquette with Janet. Etiquette with Janet. But thank you so much. That's our show for today. I want to thank you for letting us be a part of your morning. I am Neo Igbe.
And I am Yomi Otaigbe. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye-bye.